The Wall Street Journal is now reporting that back in May, Attorney General Pam Bondi informed the president that his name was in the Epstein files.
What? But he said he hardly knew the guy.
He's in the files.
Trump saying that anybody who opposes him is the enemy within. That's the language he uses.
When I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy, becomes the sound of, oh, how can he say?
He's talking about himself. The enemy within. He is the enemy within.
The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can.
Donald Trump built his entire public persona on a single falsehood, that he was untouchable. He believed that his controversial presidency, political influence, and network of loyal allies would shield him from any consequences. But the unfolding Epstein file scandal is dismantling that illusion piece by piece. With each passing day, new evidence comes to light. Evidence that threatens to unravel the empire he's carefully constructed over decades. His wealth can't protect him. His influence is losing its power. And his once loyal allies are either staying silent or beginning to distance themselves. Just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, Hollywood icon Robert De Niro entered the conversation, delivering a bombshell that could serve as the final blow to Trump's political ambitions.
As you've said before, this guy's a con artist, and he's gotten away with it for years.
No, he's more than that to me. He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system. And I'm not calling him, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency.
The Epstein files are more than just another political controversy. They're a ticking time bomb. Each newly released detail brings us closer to what could be Donald Trump's ultimate unraveling. Names, dates, and connections are emerging, and every revelation deepens the damage, portraying a man increasingly ensnared in a web of his own making. Enter Robert De Niro, a Hollywood legend with no fear of backlash, who delivered a scathing public takedown that shook Trump to the core. De Niro didn't just criticize, he dismantled the carefully crafted image Trump has spent years building. With the Epstein investigation closing in and high-profile figures like De Niro speaking out, this could very well be the scandal that brings Trump's era to an end.
Robert De Niro.
I'm going to say one thing. Trump.
You really worry that if he were to win again, and I'm not saying this like it's such a far-fetched notion, if he were to win again, that he would not give up power?
You know he won't. You know he won't. He even said it. He's never going to give it up. And anybody who deludes themselves in thinking that he is, shame on you.
You have compared the Trump family to a gangster family, which is something coming from you. What do you mean?
They are. Well, he because he thinks he's a gangster. He does everything like a gangster. I don't think that gangsters in that world would think much of him, because there's honor among thieves. There's honor in anything. If you don't keep your word and do the right thing with people, no matter what profession you're in, you are going to get ostracized.
And then it got even darker. De Niro didn't stop at harsh words. He brought receipts. Archived interviews, video clips, documented falsehoods. He laid it all out like a prosecutor delivering a closing argument. You want proof? Here's Trump praising dictators. Here's footage of him mocking people with disabilities. Here he is inciting violence. The audience didn't erupt in applause. They fell silent, stunned. This wasn't theatrical outrage. It was the raw expression of a nation's anger, voiced by a man with nothing to lose and no reason to hold back. This wasn't just about questioning Trump's fitness for leadership. It was an indictment of his character, dangerous, delusional, and teetering on the edge of collapse beneath the weight of his own lies.
In Nazi Germany, they had it with Hitler. They don't take him serious. He looks like a clown, acts like a clown. Mussolini, same thing. These guys, I don't know why, they look like clowns. They somehow, people... that element of society identifies in some ways with them, but it would be chaos beyond our imagination. There's no mystery about him. He's right out front. And what he says is what it'll be if he becomes president. Figuratively, when I say punch him in the face, go at him. A bully, you punch in the face. The trouble with Trump is he's not just a bully, he's a stupid bully.
What made this attack hit even harder was who it came from. Someone Trump couldn't simply dismiss as fake news. Robert De Niro isn't a journalist or a political commentator. He's an American icon, known for portraying raw, unfiltered truth on screen for decades. And now, he's turning that same unflinching gaze on the real-life villain of modern politics. The parallel was almost cinematic, the legendary actor who played mob bosses calling out a real-world wannabe. De Niro didn't need a script, he spoke from the gut, and it resonated. Even some Trump loyalists were forced to confront the brutal honesty coming from a man who, to many, embodies the moral conscience of a betrayed nation. Trump's online defenders fired back instantly, branding De Niro as washed up, bitter, irrelevant. But their attacks only underscored De Niro's message. When Trump feels threatened, he doesn't counter with truth. He lashes out like a wounded animal. And here's the twist. De Niro saw it coming. Watch him spiral after this, he warned. He can't take criticism. He feeds off applause. Right on cue, Trump erupted on Truth Social the next morning, hurling insults and calling De Niro a low IQ actor and a Hollywood degenerate. But the damage was already done. The carefully crafted illusion of Trump's invincibility had cracked, and the whole world was watching.
They have a protest of Robert De Niro yesterday as a fool. He's a broken-down fool standing out there. He got maggot. He got maggot yesterday. He got a big dose of it. But I just want to say it's a very unfair trial. It should have never happened.
What De Niro unleashed next wasn't just another celebrity jab. It was a relentless character takedown aimed directly at Trump's core identity. Appearing on a late-night show, De Niro didn't hold back. He's a coward, a fake tough guy, a wannabe dictator in a cheap suit, he declared. The audience gasped, but he wasn't finished. De Niro painted Trump as a man driven by fear of accountability, obsessed with loyalty yet utterly incapable of inspiring it. He bullies the weak and grovels to the powerful, De Niro growled, igniting a roar of applause. In that moment, the man who once commanded the media spotlight was reduced to a punchline. But this wasn't just entertainment. It was a scathing public indictment, broadcast live for the nation to witness.
The guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him. Nothing at all. Nothing redeemable in him. And we have to, and whoever the people are who want to vote for him, and there look like intelligent people around there. Somebody, for some reason, it can't be. It cannot be. If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. There'll be things that happen that none.
As De Niro's fury echoed across the screen, his message couldn't have been clearer. This wasn't a rant, it was a warning. He accused Trump of weaponizing fear, turning neighbors against each other, and running the country like a mob boss whose favors were running dry. He talks tough, De Niro said, but deep down, he's a scared little man who can't handle the truth. That truth. Trump's empire is built on lies, intimidation, and shady backroom deals. De Niro's words didn't just strike at Trump's ego, they pierced the delusion many still hold on to. The moment felt less like a celebrity interview and more like a courtroom summation. Robert De Niro, acting as the people's prosecutor, Donald Trump, the defendant, crumbling beneath the weight of reality. Then came the moment that stunned even the host. De Niro went after Trump's most carefully constructed image, his role as a family man. He parades his kids like props, De Niro said. But loyalty isn't love, and deep down, they all know it. The audience didn't laugh. The room fell silent. De Niro had just shattered Trump's most protected facade. He wasn't criticizing policies or tweets. He was tearing down the illusion of the man himself. A man who hides behind his children doesn't deserve the title of father, let alone president. That line exploded across the internet. Social media lit up with shock, awe, and raw emotion. For someone obsessed with legacy and image, it was a direct hit, and Trump knew it.
This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when you got up there and cursed. A lot of criticism of you.
Fuck him.
Okay, well, you know, this is cable,
Sorry.
so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
Well,
I do wonder why you choose to go that way.
Let me say something.
Why do you choose to go that way?
We are at a moment in our life, in this country, where this guy is like a gangster. He's come along and he's said things, done things we say over and over again. This is terrible. We're in a terrible situation. We're in a terrible situation. And this guy just keeps going on and on and on without being...
And just when it seemed things couldn't get darker, De Niro turned to Trump's 2024 comeback. This isn't a campaign, it's a revenge tour, he declared. That one sentence shattered any remaining illusion of redemption. De Niro didn't frame Trump as a politician seeking another chance. He portrayed him as a threat. A man who, if given power again, would burn the Constitution to avoid prison or personal disgrace. If we let him back in, De Niro warned, America won't survive round 2. This wasn't hyperbole. It was a desperate alarm bell, ringing out across late-night television and echoing into living rooms nationwide. A final, chilling warning from someone who's seen enough to know the danger up close.
I hate bullies, thugs who use their strength to push other people around. They think they can achieve power and hang on to it by intimidating others. Sadly, sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. And now we have Trump. He's all that, about intimidation, retribution. He's going to prosecute. He's going to send you to jail for having an abortion. He's going to take your Medicare and Social Security away. He's going to deport you. He's going to send the military after you if you defy him. You know who this shit works on? The MAGA politicians who are afraid of losing their power. They're so afraid of him, he's got them kissing his ass. And now they're trying to intimidate us. We will not allow that, not even for a minute, not even for a second. We need to show them our power and vote them all out, every one of them. The way to take down a bully is to look him straight in the eye and then watch him start to crumble. That's what Kamala Harris did at the debate where she totally dominated Trump, using her intelligence, her experience, her decency, and her actual plans to make life better for Americans. She reduced Trump to the little blustering punk that he is. Trump doesn't have a clue about anything, about how to lead. He only knows how to bully. And now, thanks to Kamala Harris, we know he can't even do that. Now is the time for all of us to stand up against intimidation. Join me in voting for true leadership for all Americans. Join me in voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
The moment De Niro's tirade ended, the studio no longer felt like a late-night set. It felt like a courtroom, and Trump was the man on trial. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was stunned. You could feel the weight of realization settling over the room. Someone had finally said it, without fear, without filter. Trump's public image, already battered by scandal and investigation, took another blow that night. But this one felt different. It felt final. De Niro's fury wasn't for show, it was generational. The voice of a man who had witnessed America at its strongest, now watching it unravel from within. And Trump, isolated in his bunker of denial, could only scream into a void, one that's beginning to echo back with nothing but ridicule.
Have a kind of a weird, twisted president who thinks he's a gangster, who's not even a good gangster, because this is a guy that, you know, even gangsters like Honor Among Thieves, you shake a hand, you have your word. That's all you have.
Yeah.
Is your word, and they have your word, and that's it. This guy is not the case. Is a dangerous person, and we have to people realize, a lot of people, this audience, but the people who somehow think he's going to be the answer to their prayers, whatever those are.
Did you know
God
him
knows.
when as fellow New Yorkers?
Never wanted to know him.
Never wanted to?
No.
You must have crossed...
He was an idiot. He was a clown. He was a clown in New York. And New Yorkers say, you know, some would go with him, of course, people who work in what he does, some of them. But it's just, he's a classic bully.
If you had a schoolyard and he walked in and he had his bully friends around, the other people decide whether they want to oppose him or they want to let him just tell him what to do and own that, the schoolyard or the basketball court or whatever it is. He's got to be stopped.
Across social media, the clip exploded. Hashtags trended, pundits scrambled for responses, and Trump's team rushed to spin it as just another liberal meltdown. But even they seemed unsettled. De Niro had struck a nerve, exposing the psychological heart of a movement fueled by denial, anger, and fantasy. What truly terrified Trump wasn't the insults themselves. It was the fact that someone with cultural authority had given voice to the unspoken fears of millions, all in one televised takedown. This wasn't political theater. It was a reputational collapse in real time. Trump is no longer viewed as a disruptor or underdog. He's becoming something far more dangerous to American politics, a liability. And when even his own base starts to feel that, his fall could happen faster than anyone expects.
He's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, he's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so. What I care about is the direction of this country. And what I'm very, very worried about is that it might go in the wrong direction with someone like Donald Trump. If you care about your future, vote for it.
Do you think our democracy is at risk in this election?
I think that it is. I always keep saying democracy is great, of course, but democracy people take for granted. It's a word that some people don't even understand. They take it for granted. It's about right and wrong, period. The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's scary.
Are you
Excuse my French.
De Niro's takedown sparked more than applause. It sparked permission. Permission for others to speak out. Celebrities, former allies, and even disillusioned Republicans began to echo his message, albeit in more measured tones. But the seed had been planted. A collective awareness was growing. Trump is not invincible, not untouchable. His hold on culture is crumbling, one broadcast at a time. Once a master of distraction, Trump is now the one under the microscope, scrutinized, ridiculed, and dismantled. And De Niro didn't just confront Trump. He reminded the world that fear only holds power when no one dares to laugh at the emperor's nakedness. And in that moment, the laughter wasn't light-hearted, it was damning.
We're in a very bad situation. I remember you and I about 5-6 years ago talking. I'm down at the Spring Studios. Something about, I said, what just happened. No, it didn't. Didn't happen. It's all about truth. And what we have here is a denial of truth all over the place. And even the speech that he made after is insane. It's just insane, and I'm very, very concerned about it. I think we all are. It's insane. So that's why I felt I had to do something, say something about it, to go on record.
Behind the scenes, Trump's inner circle scrambled into damage control mode. But what do you do when the damage isn't just a strategy problem? It's existential. Their entire narrative hinged on Trump as a winner, a fighter, a man who owns the libs. But De Niro flipped the script. Suddenly, Trump wasn't the attacker, he was the punchline. He appeared small, weak, and exposed. The kind of man who throws insults at late-night hosts but can't handle a jab without spiraling into rage. While MAGA influencers tried to paint it as Hollywood elitism, the truth was clear. Trump wasn't being mocked for his wealth or fame. He was mocked for being fake. And no amount of PR spin could change that.
This might have been the first time he wrote about you. Robert De Niro, a very low IQ individual, has received he spelled two wrong, many shots to the head by real boxers in movies. I watched him last night, truly believe he may be punch drunk, and then he says, at the end, he says, "Wake up, punchy," he says to you. And that's not the only time. And he moved over to Truth Social. Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country. Now, in all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
His former chief of staff, General Kelly, reminded us that Trump admires Hitler and ridicules our American troops who died for us. He mumbles, he stumbles, and blubbers on, exhibiting clear signs of dementia. He promoted the Project 2025 agenda. That's all in 1 week. All in 1 week. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris has plans, real plans, not concepts of plans. She's got a plan to help workers and the middle class with an opportunity economy. She'll lower their taxes. Trump will raise them. He says it all the time. He's going to raise them. For his rich friend, a plan to be the president for all Americans. It seems like a clear choice, right? Election day is upon us. We can't let up now. It's time to make one final push and elect Vice President Harris and Democrats up and down the ballot.
Behind the scenes, Trump's inner circle went into damage control mode. But what do you do when the damage isn't strategic? It's existential. They've built their entire narrative around Trump being a winner, a fighter, a man who owns the libs. But De Niro flipped that script. Suddenly, Trump wasn't the attacker. He was the punchline. He looked small, weak, exposed. The kind of man who hurls insults at late-night hosts but can't take a jab without spiraling into rage. And while MAGA influencers tried to reframe the moment as Hollywood elitism, the truth was painfully obvious. Trump wasn't mocked for being rich or famous. He was mocked for being fake, and no PR spin could undo that.
In my country, we're fighting like hell for the democracy we once took for granted. And that affects all of us. That affects all of us here because the arts are democratic. Art is inclusive. It brings people together. Like tonight, art looks for truth. Art embraces diversity. And that's why art is a threat. That's why we are a threat to autocrats and fascists. America's Philistine president has had himself appointed head of one of our premier cultural institutions. He has cut funding and support to the arts, humanities, and education. And now he has announced a 100% tariff on films produced outside the U.S. Let that sink in for a minute. You can't put a price on creativity, but apparently you can put a tariff on it. Of course, this is unacceptable. All these attacks are unacceptable. And this isn't just an American problem, it's a global one. Unlike a film, we can't just sit back and watch. We have to act, and we have to act now. Without violence, but with great passion and determination. It's time for everyone who cares about liberty to organize, to protest, and when there are elections, of course, to vote. Vote. Tonight and for the next 11 days, we show our strength and commitment by celebrating art in this glorious festival. Liberté, égalité, fraternité.
By the next morning, headlines went beyond what De Niro had said. They focused on what it signified. The moment became a symbol of a cultural shift, a turning point when people stopped wondering, can Trump make a comeback? And started asking, how much damage will he cause before he's gone? After all, the illusion of power only lasts as long as people believe in it.